You're now listening to All Hog Sports, covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimson.
The Arkansas Razorbacks took down number 1 Auburn at home on Tuesday night at a sold-out and packed Bud Walton Arena. A record crowd in attendance for this one, 20,237 fans in the arena for this one. And it was just a special night from everything from the music. The fans were awesome. They had the whiteout going. All the fans participated, all ages. It looked absolutely sick. The students ended up rushing the court at the end of the game. It was just fantastic to be at. And I think, a lot of people, I guess, were talking about how, Bud Walton has lost its edge. I remember seeing an article about that. No. Bud Walton is one of the hardest places to play in college basketball. I'm not sure if I've ever seen an atmosphere as electric as Bud Walton Arena. When Arkansas ended up winning the game and the dunk after the buzzer, and then the lights cut off, the fireworks shot out of the basket, that was just so awesome. Production put an incredible, event crew going down for this overtime win, and Arkansas performed really well. These players played extremely tough. This is the number 1 team in the nation, Auburn. They're 22-2 now, first in the SEC, and they came to Bud Walton Arena and lost their second game of the season. The thing is, Bud Walton Arena has a special effect, and one of those things is getting loud, and loudness helps a lot on free throws. Auburn went to the line 17 times in this game, and was 8 out of 17. There was multiple times where Walker Kessler ended up getting fouled, their 7-foot paint monster. He had a great game. But anyway, he went to the line and was 2 for 6 from the free throw line. 4 misses in a row, 5 if you count the one before the lane violation, which was redone. But he went to the line and just couldn't make anything. And I remember it hitting at least 105, probably even louder than that, decibels in that arena. I mean, you couldn't hear yourself think when Kessler was at the free throw line. Auburn ended up missing 9 free throws and lost by 4 in this one. Some other things that I think were huge at Bud Walton were that Arkansas capitalized on a lot of their foul trouble for Auburn. Fouling Walker Kessler out in overtime was huge, and then all of Auburn's starters ended up ending the game with 4 fouls. Also, Arkansas just had the guy Bud thing going on with Alan Flanagan, and he had 6 points and 4 rebounds. He had no assists and 3 turnovers. And then additionally, Katie Johnson, one of Auburn's better players, scores. He was 1 for 7 from the floor, 2 points, 3 turnovers. Auburn ran a lot of point guard through Wendell Green Jr. because their main point guard was out. He was 1 for 7 from 3 and had 7 turnovers in this game. I mean, Arkansas was so loud on a defense that, it frustrates guys who are having bad days in Auburn. Really everybody except for probably Kessler, Smith, and Green to an extent. Green really didn't have the good threes, but his twos were going in. They didn't have good shooting performances. 25% from 3 as a team, 47% from the free throw line. And the thing is, D1 college basketball teams don't shoot 47% from the free throw line. That's just, the other team getting extremely loud. 38 points. They also had 19 turnovers as their offense looked really sloppy. Now switching it up to the winning team, the Arkansas Razorbacks. JD Notae, man, what an incredible performance from him. 3 for 9 for threes, and every single one of his threes just came down at a clutch moment. He ended up with 28 points and was put on the free throw line a lot as the game went into bonuses and such. He was 11 out of 14 from the charity stripe. He had 4 blocks, 3 steals, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds. That's an all-around fantastic performance. And I saw this stat on Twitter. Shout out to @StatsByStats. He tweeted out a fact that JD Notae tonight had 28 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 blocks, 3 steals. In the last 25 years, the only player to have 25 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals against an AP top 10 opponent was Kevin Durant against Number 6, Texas A&M, February 5th, 2007. Again, that's at Stats by Stats. I thought that was a really cool number there because it just showed how all-around JD Notae was affecting the play of the game. He ended up only having 2 fouls, so he was able to play his 41 minutes. He was absolutely fantastic running a lot of high ball screens because what was happening is Auburn had their big guys in the paint like Jabari Smith Jr., 6'10", huge wingspan, Walker Kessler, 7 foot, huge wingspan, and JD was able to set up high ball screens and then take that defender out of the paint and pass it to a guy like Williams who can, it's a lot easier to post up on somebody like KD or Flanagan instead of Kessler, Jabari Smith. I thought those high ball screens were so key to Arkansas' success, and that goes with Jalen Williams too, setting a lot of those screens, getting a lot of those charges. I think the way to look at how Jalen Williams played is look at this one play. Auburn had the ball, and they were right in front of the arc. Jalen was standing like a wall, and the other friend was like, I can't run through him, that's a charge, and then ended up having to call a timeout for Auburn. That just shows you how well Jalen has been able to not only play defense, but then also take charges. They go 2-2 because he's not just throwing his hands up there and quit playing defense. He's playing defense, and then when he sees that he can take a charge, he smartly takes one. He had a double-double in this one, 13 points and 11 rebounds. He had 4 fouls on the day, so he only played 37 minutes. The thing is, in this game, Arkansas got out-rebounded 60-42, which I think correlates a little bit to Williams and his foul trouble. But Williams was absolutely fantastic. 6 out of 7 from the free throw line. He went there quite a bit. He also had 2 assists in this one. Williams has just been playing incredible during this Arkansas win streak, which extends to 9 games, 8 of those being in SEC play. Arkansas played really good defense as a whole. Tony played fantastic on the defensive side, but Auburn is one of the better offensive teams in the nation. I mean, you got guys like Jabari Smith Jr., Wendell Green, Kessler. I know they were missing Jasper, but Arkansas's defense as a whole was extremely efficient. 30 out of 80 for field goals. Auburn as a team, 8 out of 32 from 3. Not many teams are going to shoot 30-plus threes and only make 25%. Free throws, I credit that more to the crowd than Arkansas's defense. But Arkansas's defense, the thing with that is they've been playing very consistent during this win streak. And I think you look at Arkansas, and Musselman can tell us guys, hey, we've got offensive talent out there. We got Williams, Notae, Tony, Amude, lots of guys who can score the basketball. So if we can go out there and we can play good defense and lock down their better offensive players, we're going to win games. And that's absolutely true for how Arkansas has played this season. Last few games, they have mainly frustrated their opponents on the defensive side outside of probably that Georgia game, but Mississippi State only scoring 55. Georgia did put up 73. They had a nice game at home there, but West Virginia 68, Ole Miss 55, Texas A&M 73, South Carolina 59, LSU 58, and then Missouri 43. Those are all numbers during the 9-game winning streak. I didn't look any further than back. Texas A&M and Auburn, 2 of those games were both in overtime, and both teams still didn't get to the 80-point mark. The main thing with Arkansas on defense, though, is a lot of times I've seen them optimally go for setting up the defense instead of getting offensive rebounds. At times, that's not always the case, as they got 11 offensive rebounds last night, most of those coming in the second half after adjustments. But, the thing is, Auburn's a really big team. They get a lot of boards. I don't think Arkansas will face a team like that that's just as dominant inside. Auburn's offensive rebounds total was at 24, defensive rebounds 36. Again, you don't get out-rebounded by 18 and win many games, but when you're at home, you can just about do anything and win games. I say a lot of times games are won on the charity stripe, regardless of good or bad calls. Arkansas 26 out of 32, that's 81% from free throw line. Auburn 8 out of 17 and 47%. In the final stretch of the game and in overtime, Auburn was fouling a lot, whether that be to try to come back in overtime or that they were just fouling near the basket. They're self-inflicted. A lot of people see, that there was a foul difference between the two. there was a free throw difference between the two and assume bias, but that's not the case. Most of those Auburn free throws were self-inflicted. And again, your whistle's going to get blown more down the stretch, especially on defense. And you got to make the most out of free throw opportunities. I don't think you can really complain about not getting to the line enough if you shot 47% from the line. Those two just don't add up for me. Something else Arkansas did extremely well was create steals. One of those being JD Notae's final steal to put the game tied up to go to overtime. Arkansas was down 5 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and I was a little bit nervous. I put my hood up, and Arkansas came back. Says, hood's up for the rest of the game. Lucky hood, who knows? But anyway, and Devo Davis had 5 steals. And Devo had a fantastic game. He had a double-digit plus or minus number, 5 steals, only 2 turnovers. He had 10 points, was 2 for 3 from 3, played 32 minutes. He looked fantastic in this one. JD Notae had 3 steals. Jalen Williams had 2. The team combined for 11 steals and forced 19 turnovers for Auburn. And this game, honestly, was just one for the ages. I'll remember this game for a long time. Arkansas beating number 1 for the first time since 1984, beating number 1 at Bud Walton Arena. There's just something about that Bud Walton, man. It's one of the hardest places to play in college basketball, and unbiasedly, I think you can argue it being the hardest. I think there's Bud Walton Arena and then everything else. When you have that place full of loud Hog fans, I don't think anything else competes. It was absolutely fantastic, electric night at Bud Walton. And I think this just goes to what Yurchek has done here by hiring coaches like Musselman, Pittman. I can't remember the last time I was this excited about Arkansas sports personally. I've been a huge fan, but the excitement from people who I guess just would kind of chime in every once in a while, it's just unreal. And you look at the ticket numbers next few games, they've just driven up. Hog fans are so excited about this team. What does this win, though, necessarily mean? Now, Arkansas obviously had their losses early this season, and I was concerned. I didn't think there was a tournament team back then, but I am more than glad to be wrong. I think what really has turned around the stretch, JD Notae, Jalen Williams playing at that level, JD running a lot of good time at point guard, and then the last few games have been huge, because we finally found the top 3 guys off the bench in Devo and Kamani. You get those 3 guys going for the rest of the season, and you have a solid starting 8 right there. But what does this win for Arkansas and their metrics, their stats? So in KenPom, Arkansas is up to number 22 in the NET rankings. Arkansas is up to number 31. That's what the NCAA tournament mainly uses. They are perfect in Quadrant 2 games, 6-0, and then I think they've got 2 wins in the Quadrant 1. But what's really hurting the resume a lot is those Q3 losses to Vanderbilt and Hofstra. And, that really doesn't hurt the team as a performance and looking at what this team has done for their next few games and such. But it hurts the team's resume, and that's going to be held against them, which is why I think when you look at the NCAA tournament and the seeding, Arkansas is being seeded as a potential 5, 6, 7 seed, but I think how we're playing right now is better than a 5, 6, 7 seed, and that can correlate with AP rankings and such. Arkansas playing better than those seed lines, and those seed lines who play the 5, the 12, 11, and 10, those teams always are looking for upsets, and I'm telling you, none of the teams right now want to possibly face a 5 seed Arkansas, because that 5 seed Arkansas is going to be better than any other 5 seed, because of those tough losses. But when you're 9 straight and you completely switch around your lineup, you're starting 5, all of that, it's so much different. I mean, you got to give time to let the transfers and everything gel with how much roster movement Musselman had the last few seasons. I remember last season, Hogs started 1-4 in conference play, and people actually the roof fell off. We know how last season went. Arkansas lost those 2 out of conference games, started 0-3 in conference play. Same thing there. And I say that for myself, too. I need to remember, hey, we can definitely flip this thing around. Give Musselman time. He's one of the best coaches in the entire nation, and he's getting paid like it as such. I'm really happy with this win, though. Arkansas, man, those players, coaches, everyone just fought so hard. And just the rushing, the field at the end was awesome, too. So, Y'all know the deal. As always, woo pig sue.